Andy, I've got something interesting for you now.
Go ahead.
So my question to you is that you do a lot of project planning for a lot of different areas of projects, infrastructure, housing, or whatever.
We have buildings, infrastructure, road, rail.
Yeah.
Infrastructure upgrades as in like fiber cable to the ground, the water main upgrades, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But do you feel that there is a difference in dealing with different kind of projects in different areas of New Zealand with territorial authorities, with...
Absolutely.
Really?
100%.
And with the development engineering team, or how you interact with overall the stakeholders of the project?
It's quite interesting, right? I've worked on AT Eastern Busway.
Yeah.
The challenges are very different when you're dealing with a project at that scale, which is $800 million. That's the scale of that project itself. It's huge. And actually extending busways on either way, all the way down to Rapid Drive. It's quite cool. And all you're doing, say, I don't know, Matakana scopes.
Yeah.
I don't deal with the territorial authorities myself. Yeah, but I do get involved in the planning around how you deal with these territorial authorities, and it's quite interesting for me to see things from different perspectives.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like the overall consent as such, like, when you compare it to a building job, how you're dealing with a building consent for, say, a 5-lot subdivision. That's probably all, not a problem. It's taken care of, and it's done by a greater design team. For an AT Eastern Busway. But the challenges for them will come into play because it's a public project, and you've got to acquire property.
Correct.
There's a completely different set of challenges, right? So you've got to now acquire property for the benefit of the good of the greater good.
Yeah.
But then that could entirely be stopped by, said, or, it could be a landowner that says, hey, man, I don't want to make it for my place.
Correct.
And then you go through a PWA process, which is quite interesting. It's different,
Absolutely.
But as building your 8 lots, you never have to go through that.
Absolutely.
Because you own the land. All you're dealing with is public infrastructure, which is EPA work.
Correct.
Yeah. They're dealing with EPA work. They're dealing with acquiring the property. But then the overall consent as such is then on a level already improved. So it's quite different. It's very different. And I worked on a couple of jobs with this, where it's like big infrastructure development jobs, where you go in, the PWA Act is quite insane when you actually read into it and you understand it. You probably would never have dealt with the PWA scenario.
Not at this.
Yeah. I think it's called Public Works Act.
Yeah.
Once you understand that, that's completely different kettle of fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you're looking at it from your perspective. Funny, in my job, I get to look at it from your perspective, from a public works perspective.
Got it.
So it's building buildings is very different to building infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yes, totally different.
Yeah. But it's a completely different ball here.
You think, like, when you look at the infrastructure development in China, for example, you look at how fast they bloody build anything that come across the way. And you look at, because I deal with a lot of, I've got mates who are project managers and dealing with all these stuff. And what their feedback is, it takes about couple of years just to get the approvals from all the stakeholders, for example.
In New Zealand?
In New Zealand. Oh, and probably the work would take 9-10 months to be done, So it's quite a...
Probably more, but it depends on the scale of the job. But...
Absolutely. But what I say is that it normally takes huge amount of convincing to local boards, EVs, some form of, indigenous values that comes into the picture, or acquisition, as you say. And but
arborists, a tree. No, and then there's lizard management plans. I would know management. I've dealt with each one of these in different instances, man. Like, actually, on one of these different projects, I had to sit down and go, what the fuck's a lizard management plan? Like, this is cool. I mean, it's important, right? They do form a very one part ecosystem, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. They do make a meal out of it, don't they? Like you imagine the country's growth as an overall picture. It's down to how fast we can do things.
Return on investment.
Correct. And you look at why this country has really steered out of the global economical level, if you look at other countries in that way.
But also on the flip side of things, they are a very peaceful nation.
We are.
We'll take care of the environment.
We do.
We do things slowly.
Yes.
We do it in our own time.
Correct.
But then you come to New Zealand for a lifestyle.
We do. But there has to be again ideal balance. You can't be running into ground because you need a peaceful. Like you have to cater to all sorts of. World is now global, right? It's not just down to New Zealand. I know a lot of countries who are behaving that even to a global audience.
Yeah.
And so
what I'm trying to say is I probably wouldn't want New Zealand to go as fast as China. You know what I mean? Because because we don't live in China. I don't want to live. I didn't come here for that crazy life, right?
Correct.
I came here for a chill, peaceful life. So I agree with you. There's a balance.
Yeah, the balance. Yeah.
We are off balance, where we're going too bureaucratic, too protective.
Correct.
Killing the creative.
Yeah.
How do we then switch back and come back to balance?
Yeah.
Where we go, there's a balance between protecting the environment,
Correct.
but not also rushing into things.
Absolutely. So when I use the example of China in some extreme end of respect already, but you look at other countries where there's a balance between a good outcome for environment or for the people, which is what is really what you're looking after. But eventually you gotta understand that everything slows down, and that brings the country to a board. So you don't have a larger economy, you don't have people having bigger visions and thoughts, and that is one of the reasons you see a lot of migration going into Australia, because really not a lot of people are enjoying
there aren't enough opportunities here.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So I don't see a point in having an extreme end, preaching that, or aiming to that extreme end, but it has to be a balance where it is attractive for people to still stay here. I mean, the economy of
Still attractive for me to stay here.
It is, because you are a super specialist in doing what you're the best in the market.
I'm not bad.
But there are a lot of brain drain going on. There are everywhere.
Yeah, I 100%. There's absolute brain drain.
There is a threshold after which you can't really grow. Yeah. Even when you talk about developments, you really don't know. People have really started migrating and they're doing shitloads of work there. And because there's obviously support from infrastructure level, they have more land, they have less topography or geographical issues and stuff. But in reality, the attitude starts from the ministerial level, from the political level.
From policy.
Yeah, from the policies that we are entitled, we are getting. But I don't see any vision that comes through the government that really says, okay, now hang on, we need to balance everything, but we need to really push forward and do something bigger. You don't any
from my podcast at Silent Court, I've had a little bit of what this coalition government's working on, and there might be change coming.
I hope so. I really do.
And Simon Court's got a vision where he's where he kind of gave a little bit of an insight on my podcast into his vision,
right?
And I find that very interesting. You must go check out his episode. I'm sure you'll.
I definitely go through that. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think there is a huge shift required in the attitude of how the country is run. Country is not huge, but
he'll be all right, bro. She'll be all right.
She'll be okay. Yeah. I'm just looking at a larger picture.
I'm with you there, man.
Yeah.
Now, did I answer your question?
Not really.
I didn't answer your question.
I think you did. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that was cool. But I guess the inference is that we gotta have that kind of shift in the attitude of starting from top to the bottom and making sure that everyone's striving, not surviving or sustaining themselves. And there's a difference between striving and growth is one of the key fundamentals that any human, at least from our perspective, looks after to really grow as a person, as a professional, as a designer, to think beyond just what is just acceptable solutions written in a code, isn't it? So that's how I think we should really change the attitude.
I'm pretty sure change is coming. So let's watch the space. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, sure.